What's up guys, Nate back with another video for teaching technology. I own a custom integration company, meaning I help people implement technology into their homes and businesses. Now, like I had mentioned and promised before, I want to give you more install content. Previously, it was very difficult for me to find a way to film and do the jobs all at the same time when it was just me doing the installs. Luckily, I have brought on a full-time installer. I talked about it in my last video. But I have help now, which has allowed me to take a little bit of time back and focus on getting some video and content. Now, this is the first one that I've done where I filmed on site with a client. It's not great. I missed a bunch of things. So I want to try and find the best way that I can make this video flow together. So it's going to be a mixture of, I'm going to run through, because I missed a bunch of the different types of products that we installed. I do have some great footage of some of the other pieces of this proposal that this client got. But my thought was I'll run through the actual proposal that I gave the client, and I will screen record my computer and I'll talk about the products that we went through. Some of the products I've done in the past for this client, so what infrastructure was already in place and how we move forward and like what the decision-making process was for this. Some of the things that we did miss, we installed 2 G4 UBIQUITI cameras. It was raining and it was cold, and we're in New England, it's like 25 degrees out. I just did a bad job. I didn't record it. We were up and down ladders. Same with installing the conduit, where we allowed it gave us the pathway to get the Ethernet from the basement where the rack is all the way to the attic. It's a 3-story house, so it wasn't going to be possible any other way. I don't have a ton of great footage of that process. There are a bunch of creators out there on YouTube. There's a ton of electricians that I get sucked into their videos, and honestly is what made me want to kind of like move forward with making more types of videos like this. Electricians, plumbers, there's like great trade videos in Reels right now where they're like condensed to these 2 minutes. I'm going to take a different approach. So I'm going to do more of a long form, and I'm going to talk about the sales process behind how we got to that, which is what I focus on. And then I'll bring you along for some of the products of the installation side. So I'm going to switch over. I'll pull up the proposal. I'll run a voiceover with it, and then we'll jump into some of the videos. Yes. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to run you through our proposal software and how we got to a final closed and accepted proposal with this client. Like I mentioned, I don't have a ton of great footage from the actual installation of this, so this is kind of how I'm making up for that. I'm going to show you more of the behind the scenes things. There's tons of great install videos out there on the internet already. I would like to show more of that type of thing, but as we grow with YouTube and as I get better at remembering to record and working through some of these hiccups as we go, this is the next best thing in my opinion. So I use a proposal software called Portal. It is specifically designed for the AV world. This is the PDF version that a client would get. I do have all the client information hidden on this, but I thought it would be good to kind of show the back end of how I design a system and how I deliver that to a customer. So you can kind of see there's option 1 and option 2 up here at the top. This customer declined option 1. We ended up going with option 2, which made more sense for what he had. So in the beginning of the video, I talked about he already had some existing equipment. So if we kind of look at option 1, I know it's grayed out here, but we were working on devising a system that would work with his existing Dream router that he had, and then utilizing UBIQUITI Protect along with that, which would have required a cloud key, upgrading the switch that he had, and doing some different cameras. Instead, I did give him the option of, let's remove the Dream router that you have. He wasn't a big fan of it to begin with, and we could do a rack with a full suite using the UDM Pro because it has that built-in NVR and the Protect software, meaning we didn't have to use a cloud key for him. So it's the same cameras that we talked about with that I talked about in the beginning of the video. So we did G4 bullets for him. We did a G4 Pro doorbell for him, which you'll see us install at the end of the video. I do have footage of that. This was what I mainly didn't have footage of. I'm missing any type of footage of us installing the cameras or pulling the lines up through the conduit and into that space. Like I had mentioned before, it was cold, it was raining, it wasn't ideal. We do charge per drop for Cat 6 wiring. We ended up doing 4 drops for him, 5 drops total. We ran a spare up there. So when we do a rack, we base it on the price. So like this was a fairly small deployment. We're not doing like a big floor standing, like a 27U rack or anything like that. So we ended up doing a 12U rack. I use mostly Ubiquiti equipment when I get the option to. So we did a 16-port PoE switch, UDM Pro, the patch panel. We did a 6 terabyte hard drive. I use a calculator that is on the internet. I'll link it in the description of where you can just go and input all of your Ubiquiti cameras you plan on using, and it will spit out the hardware that you are going to need to make that work. We used a watt box. I have an entire video where I build this rack on our channel already, and I kind of go in depth with the products and why we chose them. But this is a good kind of background of how we write our proposals and what the client sees when they get them. We also did some security for them. We break down pricing and we come up with a plan for how they plan to pay. But the main thing is we give them options. So I like to give a good, better, best option depending on what the client's budget is, what makes the most sense for them, maybe what they do, what they don't want. But I like to let the customer decide for themselves based on an informed decision. Option 2 was more expensive than option 1, and the client chose that because it made more sense for what he wanted long-term out of his house as well. So having a rack there made more sense because we'll be implementing a control system down the road. And as he continues to renovate the house, we'll have more audio equipment going in as well. So that's kind of the background of our proposal software. I'll kick it back over to some of the clips that I have of the actual install, and I hope you guys enjoy. So this next clip that you are going to see is the second portion or another piece to this client's proposal is Lutron automated shades. These are the Triathlon series shades from Lutron. You can see them behind me as well. They go up and down via the remote with a Pico. You can use them with a control system. You can use it exclusively through the app. They tie in great with a lot of products. We use them frequently. So you will see some clips of us installing these shades and they turned out outstanding. So here's a couple clips of a little bit of the install and then the final for the master bedroom section of the Lutron shades. All right, so here you're gonna see us working on the Lutron shades for the master bedroom. This client, I wanna say it was 6 windows in that nook. There is a window to the far left as well, and then this one small window. There really is nothing better than when you get a bunch of these windows stacked next to each other and we press that button and they all go down. We go and set the thresholds for high and low on all of our shades individually so that they match and they all move at the same exact speed. This next clip, you're seeing us do the the office on the 3rd floor. So this is the opposite finished side of the attic. This was a 3% shade. They did not want full blackout like they have in the master bedroom. This was another thing. We didn't get footage of us installing this. I talked about it earlier in the video, but this is the conduit exiting the basement and going up to the attic. This is the opposite side of that office. So that wall that you see right there was where we put the power kit for the TV as well as some of these drops going in. We ended up doing, you'll see that little white plate down there next to the single gang outlet is a U6IW from Ubiquiti. They ended up putting a nice entertainment center right in front of there that will hold that Sonos beam. Here you see us working on the G4 Doorbell Pro. I don't know if I have a clip of it in here, but we go in and put the little receiver on the inside box as well so that it will still, when they press the button, it'll still chime the inside right there. And like I mentioned, I don't have any footage of the actual cameras getting in, but here we are tuning them. That was all for this install. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out more, and we'll have more installs coming soon.